Most people walk to Holy Communion with their bodies, but not with their hearts. There is a specific moment that happens in every Catholic church, in every city, across the entire world, every single Sunday. It is a moment of profound movement, yet often it is a moment of profound stillness of the heart, or tragically, a moment of profound absence. Watch the aisle. Watch the procession. We stand up from the pews. We shuffle forward. We hear the sound of shoes on the floor, the rustling of clothes, the coughing of a child. We are moving toward the altar. We are moving toward the source of all life. But where are we, really? At that moment, the Creator of the universe is not asking for perfection. He is asking for your attention. Are you truly there? Comment present if you want your next communion to be different. If we are honest with ourselves, and we must be honest if we are to speak of the spirituality of St. Padre Pio, we must admit that often our bodies are in the line for communion, but our minds are miles away. We are checking the mental cell phone of our worries. We are thinking about the parking lot. We are noticing that the person in front of us has a coat that looks expensive, or that the person behind us is breathing too loudly. We are caught in the trivial, the small, the immediate. We are about to receive the Creator of the universe, the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus Christ. And yet, our internal posture is often no different than if we were standing in line at the grocery store. This is not an accusation. It is an observation of the human condition. It is the autopilot of the soul. Padre Pio, who bore the wounds of Christ and lived the Mass as if he were hanging on the cross himself, often wept over this specific tragedy, not because he was angry at the people, but because he saw what they were missing. He saw the ocean of grace available, and he saw us approaching that ocean with a thimble, or worse, with a cup that is already full of stones. We receive the host, we hold God in our bodies. For those few minutes, we are living tabernacles. In a real, sacramental way, he is truly within us. And yet, how many of us guard this treasure? How many of us simply swallow, turn around, and immediately let the noise of the world rush back in? The tragedy isn't that we are human and get distracted. The tragedy is that we have forgotten that the reception of the Eucharist is not a mechanical act. It is not a ticket we punch to say we attended Mass. It is a collision between human poverty and divine mercy. When we approach the altar on autopilot, we are not committing a mortal sin necessarily, but we are suffering from a terrible spiritual anemia. We are starving at a banquet. We are walking through a rainstorm of grace, wearing a raincoat of indifference. There are accounts, inspired by the life of Padre Pio, that suggest he was far less interested in the complexity of theological arguments and far more interested in the disposition of the heart at that precise second of contact. He didn't ask for perfection, he asked for presence. And that sentence begins with humility. Lord, I am not worthy, not to condemn you, but to open you. He asked for a heart that was awake. The difference between a communion that changes your life and a communion that leaves you exactly the same often comes down to a single sentence, and the Church herself has already placed it on our lips. But be careful, we are not talking about magic. We are not talking about a secret password that forces God to give you what you want. That is superstition, and Padre Pio detested superstition. We are talking about a phrase, a prayer, a cry of the soul that breaks the shell of our distraction and opens the door to the guest who is knocking. It is about moving from the mechanical to the mystical. It is about realizing that the God who created the galaxies is resting on your tongue, and he is waiting for you to say hello with your whole being. Why do we struggle with this? Because we live in a culture of noise. We are terrified of silence. If we stop the internal chatter, if we stop planning the rest of our Sunday, we might have to face the silence where God speaks. And sometimes that silence is intimidating. But the spirituality of Padre Pio invites us to stop running. It invites us to slow down our step, to lower our eyes, and to prepare the house of our soul. You do not need to be a mystic to do this. You do not need to have visions. You only need to be tired of the emptiness. You only need to desire, even just a little bit, that this communion be different from the last one. The grace is there. It is always there. The variable is never God. God is constant love. The variable is us. The variable is how much room we make. And sometimes making room starts with realizing just how crowded our hearts actually are. Look at your hands. Look at your feet as you walk up the aisle next time. Ask yourself, who is walking up this aisle? Is it a distracted employee, a worried parent, an ambitious professional? Or is it a child of God, hungry for bread? The answer to that question changes everything. Now let us move from the aisle back to the pew. You have received. You have returned to your seat. You kneel or you sit. This is the moment of tension. This is the moment of the dialogue that often determines the fruit of the Mass. What happens in your head in these 3 to 5 minutes? For many of us, the internal monologue goes something like this. Okay, I received. Thank you, God. Now, what time is lunch? Did I turn off the oven? I hope the priest doesn't talk too long after the announcements. I have that meeting tomorrow morning that I'm dreading. I can't believe she said that to me yesterday. Do you see what is happening? The Lord of history is physically present within you, in a sacramental union that is the closest we get to heaven on earth. And we are pushing him into the corner of the room so we can focus on our anxieties. We treat the Eucharist like a vitamin pill. We swallow it, assume it will do its work in the background, and we go back to our business. But then a deeper voice speaks, a voice of unease. You might feel a pang of guilt, or perhaps just a dull ache of dissatisfaction. You might think, I just received the Lord. Why am I still so anxious? Why am I still so angry? Why do I feel so empty? This is not a bad feeling. This is a blessed unrest. It is your soul telling you that you were made for more than a ritual. You were made for a relationship. We often want a shortcut. We want a miracle phrase to bypass conversion. But Padre Pio would tell us the truth. God is not a vending machine. The Eucharist is not a transaction. It is a transformation. And transformation requires your real heart, not a performance. The tension in the pew is the tension between the old man and the new man. Oh, the old man wants to control everything. He wants to calculate the weak, manage the offenses, and feed the vanity. The new man, the one Christ is trying to birth in you, wants to surrender. The phrase we are looking for, the phrase that grants graces, is not a spell, it is a surrender. Ask yourself this single, uncomfortable question. What do I really expect from this communion? Do I want consolation, or do I want conversion? Consolation feels good. It is the warm feeling, the peace, the emotional high. There is nothing wrong with consolation. God gives it when we need it. But conversion hurts. Conversion means the light of Christ touches the dark corners of our pride, our lust, our unforgiveness. If we are honest, many of us are afraid of the grace of the Eucharist because we are afraid of what God might ask us to change. So we fill the silence with noise. We distract ourselves to avoid the encounter. We complain about the music, the homily, the temperature in the church, anything to avoid facing the guest in our heart. But here is the good news. The Lord knows this. He knows you are distracted. He knows you are weak. He knows you are dust. He does not come to the strong. He comes to the sick. The fact that you are struggling to focus is not a reason to despair. It is the very reason you need the Eucharist. Do not fall into the trap of self-hatred. Do not sit in the pew and beat yourself up thinking, I am terrible. I am praying badly. God must be angry with me. That is the voice of the accuser, not the voice of God. Padre Pio often dealt with souls who were tormented by scruples, by the fear that they were never good enough. He would remind them that anxiety is the enemy of grace. In his simplicity, he would tell them, pray, hope, and don't worry. In the comments, tell me what distracts you most during communion: worries, noise, or something else. Peace is the language of God. If your internal dialogue is full of accusation and panic, that is not from the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit convicts us to bring us to life. The enemy accuses us to drive us to despair. So, in this block of tension, as you kneel there fighting the distractions, the goal is not to force your mind into perfect silence through sheer willpower. The goal is to gently, constantly bring the focus back. It is to say, Lord, I am here. My mind is wandering, but my will belongs to you. I want to be with you. That desire is the prayer. That struggle is the offering. The phrase we will speak of is the anchor that holds the ship steady in these waves of distraction. It is the tool that turns the chaos of our thoughts into a focused beam of love. Let us now reframe everything we have thought about this phrase. When you clicked on this video, perhaps you hoped for a secret formula, a sentence revealed by a mystic that acts like a spiritual key code. Say these 10 words, and your problems will dissolve. We must be clear, grace is a gift, not a wage. You cannot earn it, and you cannot hack it. So what do we mean when we say, this phrase grants divine graces? We mean that words have the power to shape our interior disposition. The grace of the Eucharist is infinite. It is always flowing, like a mighty river. But our capacity to receive that grace depends on the vessel we bring. If your vessel is capped with a lid of pride, or filled with the mud of distraction, the river flows over you, but not into you. The phrase is the act of removing the lid. It is the act of cleaning the vessel. It is not magic. It is theology. It is the alignment of the human will with the divine will. In a moment, I'll give you the exact phrase, but first you need to understand why it works. Think of the Mass itself. The Church, in her ancient wisdom, places one central phrase on our lips right before we receive communion, and Padre Pio would want you to mean it. We do not say, Lord, I have been good this week, reward me. We do not say, Lord, I am powerful, strengthen me. If you want a phrase that reliably opens the soul to grace, this is it. We say, echoing the Roman centurion, Lord, I am not worthy that you should enter under my roof, but only say the word, and my soul shall be healed. Why this phrase? Because it is the ultimate reality check. It positions us correctly. It acknowledges two things simultaneously: our absolute poverty and God's absolute power. It is a phrase of humility and hope. Padre Pio's entire life was a living commentary on this reality. Testimonies from those who attended his masses describe a man who was visibly suffering, visibly carrying the weight of the world, yet totally absorbed in the mystery. He didn't rush. He didn't perform. He was terrified of the responsibility of holding the host, yet he was drawn to it by love. He taught that the Mass is not a reenactment of the Last Supper only. It is a participation in Calvary. For him, every Mass was a living Calvary, and he trembled because he knew what he was holding. When we realize this, our desire for magic words dies, and a desire for reverence is born. The phrase that grants graces is any phrase that comes from a heart that has stopped negotiating with God and has started trusting Him. It is a phrase that says, I am yours. Imagine you are a guest in the house of a king. You don't demand the best wine. You don't critique the furniture. You stand in awe that you were invited at all. That awe is what opens the floodgates of grace. When you approach communion with entitlement, you receive the sacrament, but you may miss the grace. When you approach with the trembling joy of a beggar invited to the banquet, you receive everything. This reframing is crucial. If you say a prayer because you think it guarantees a result, You are practicing a form of transaction. If you say a prayer because it expresses your love and your need, you are practicing relationship. Padre Pio wanted souls to have a relationship with Jesus, not a contract. So the power is not in the syllables. The power is not in the grammar. The power is in the truth of the statement. When you say, "Lord, I am not worthy," do you mean it, or is it just a script? When you say, "My Lord and my God," is it a recognition of His sovereignty over your finances, your health, your family, or is it just a habit? The phrase works because it wakes up the soul. It forces the mind to focus on the reality of the real presence. It acts as a lens, focusing the scattered rays of our attention into a single point of burning love. That is why it grants graces, not because it forces God's hand, but because it opens ours. Now let us descend from the theological to the practical. If you want more simple Catholic tools like this, subscribe, and let's grow in reverence together. How do we live this in the real world? Next Sunday, when the baby is crying and your knees hurt, we need a micro-ritual. Not a heavy burden of new rules, but a simple structure to help our frailty. In the spirit of Padre Pio's advice to his spiritual children, we can construct a simple way to approach the altar. Step 1. The preparation, 60 seconds before. You are in the pew. The line is moving. Do not just stand up and walk. Take 10 seconds. Feel your feet on the floor. Ground yourself. Take a breath. Make a specific intention. Not a vague, bless the world, but something concrete. Lord, I offer this communion for my lack of patience with my spouse this week. Or, I offer this for the healing of my son's anxiety. Giving the act a purpose sharpens the mind. Step 2. The approach. As you walk, keep your eyes lowered or fixed on the cross. This isn't about looking holy for others. It's about restricting visual data so your brain can focus. Step 3. The phrase, the moment of reception. Here is the core. As you are about to receive, or immediately as you return to your seat, anchor your soul with one short, powerful sentence. Repeat it slowly in your mind. Do not rush it. Let the Church's phrase be your foundation. Lord, I am not worthy, is the door. Everything else is simply a way to stay inside. And if you need a second anchor for your Thanksgiving, choose just one of these short prayers rooted in Catholic tradition and faithful to the spirit of Padre Pio. Option A, for humility. Lord, I am not worthy, but say only the word. Let the but be your bridge of hope. Option B, for transformation. Jesus, meek and humble of heart, make my heart like unto thine. This was a favorite of many saints. It asks for the only thing that matters, a heart like his. Option C, for total surrender. My Jesus, I believe, I adore, I hope, and I love you. I ask pardon for those who do not believe, do not adore, do not hope, and do not love you. This connects your communion to the needs of the whole world. Choose one. Stick with it. Let it be the rhythm of your steps. Step 4. The Thanksgiving, 3 minutes after. This is where the battle is often lost. You sit down. The tendency is to immediately look around. Don't. Close your eyes. If you can, keep them closed for 3 minutes. Imagine the physical reality of the Eucharist within you. Say to him, "Stay with me, Lord." And if your mind is restless, place yourself in the hands of Our Lady. Mary, keep me with Jesus. Do not start asking for things yet. For 3 minutes, just be with him. Breathe slowly. Let your soul say, without fear, "Stay with me, Lord." And if your mind begins to wander, return to one simple whisper, "Jesus, have mercy." This is not emptiness, this is intimacy. Step 5, the continuity. Finally, take the grace out of the church. Choose one tiny act of charity to do before the sun sets, a text message to someone you ignored, a dish washed that isn't yours, a biting comment swallowed and not spoken. This proves that the communion was real. This micro-ritual is not a law. It is a trellis for the vine of your soul. Without a trellis, the vine grows wild and on the ground, getting muddy. With the trellis, it grows upward. The phrase you repeat is the stake that holds you up. It keeps you from collapsing back into the autopilot of the world. It is simple, but in the spiritual life, the simple things are often the most powerful because they are the ones we can actually do consistently with love. Now, I invite you to pause. We have spoken many words, but Padre Pio was a man of the confessional and the altar, places of profound silence. Let us practice, just for a moment, the disposition we are talking about. Imagine a dark room. In the center of the room, there is a small oil lamp. The flame is steady. It does not flicker wildly. It does not make a sound. It does not argue with the darkness. It simply is. It burns. It gives light and warmth just by being there. Your soul. After communion is that room. The Eucharist is the flame. For the next few moments in the privacy of your own heart, try to stop doing. Stop asking. Stop explaining yourself to God. He knows. He knows the bills on the counter. He knows the diagnosis that scares you. He knows the loneliness. You do not need to brief him on your life. Just look at the flame. Imagine that with every breath, you are inhaling his peace and exhaling your turbulence. Padre Pio often said that we seek God in books, but we find him in prayer. And prayer at its highest is often wordless. It is a gaze. It is a look between two people who love each other and don't need to speak. If there is a heavy weight in your heart right now, a name, a sin, a regret, imagine taking it in your hands and simply placing it next to that flame. Do not analyze it. Just set it down. Here, Lord, this is too heavy for me. You carry it for a while. This silence is not empty. It is full. It is the silence of the stable in Bethlehem. It is the silence of the tomb before the resurrection. It is in this silence that the phrase echoes the loudest. When you whisper, "My Jesus, mercy," in this silence, it rings like a bell through the universe. We are so afraid that if we stop talking, God will stop listening. But the opposite is true. When we stop talking, we finally give God the chance to speak. And what he speaks, usually, is not a command, but a reassurance. I am here. I am with you. Do not be afraid. Hold this image of the lamp. Take it with you to Mass next Sunday. When the distractions come, and they will come, gently return to the room. Return to the flame. Stay with me, Lord. That is enough. That is everything. There is a scene that plays out in the human soul that we must address. It is the scene of the person standing in the back of the church, afraid to approach the altar. Perhaps this is you. Perhaps you feel that no phrase can help you because your sins are too great or your habits are too deeply broken. You look at the communion line and you think, they are holy. I am a mess. I shouldn't be here. We must look at this through the eyes of Padre Pio. He was known as a strict confessor, yes. He did not tolerate unrepentant sin. He did not let people play games with God, but for the truly contrite, for the soul that was broken and bleeding and wanted to change. He was the most tender of fathers. He knew that the hospital is for the sick. If you are holding back because of mortal sin, then the path is clear and beautiful, the confessional. It is the second plank of salvation after the shipwreck. It is the place where the phrase of the priest, "I absolve you," shatters the chains that bind you. There is no sin greater than God's mercy, provided we bring it to the light. But if you are holding back because of weakness, because of unworthiness, remember this: no one is worthy, not the Pope, not the saints, not Padre Pio himself. Worthiness is not the ticket to communion. Hunger is. The enemy of our souls loves to confuse unworthiness with hopelessness. He wants you to think that because you struggle with anxiety or depression or recurring faults, you are rejected by God. That is a lie. Suffering is not sin. Feeling low is not sin. Being tempted is not sin. Imagine a person entering the confessional of Padre Pio. It is a small wooden box. It smells of old wood and incense. The person is trembling. They confess their sins. They expect anger, but instead they find a physician. They receive absolution. They walk out, and for the first time in years, the air feels light. Now, that person approaches the altar. The phrase they say after communion is different now. It is not a ritual. It is a cry of sheer gratitude. Lord, you have broken my bonds. I will offer you the sacrifice of praise. This is where the healing happens. The Eucharist acts as a balm on the wounds left by sin. If you have been away from the sacraments, or if you have been receiving them badly, today is the day to stop looking back. The rearview mirror is small. The windshield is large. God is interested in your future, not your past. The phrase that grants graces is most powerful when it comes from a heart that knows it has been rescued. Jesus, I am a sinner, but I trust in your mercy. This is the prayer that makes the demons tremble and the angels rejoice. Do not let shame keep you from the source of healing. The only thing required is a turning back, a simple, humble return. If you are carrying a burden of guilt today, let this be your sign. The confessional door is open. The table is set. The Father is watching the road, waiting for the prodigal to come home. And when you do, he doesn't ask for an explanation. He calls for a feast. We come now to the end of our reflection, and we must leave with an image that will last. We must anchor this teaching in something durable. Think of your soul as a field. It is vast and it is capable of bearing incredible fruit. But currently, perhaps, the ground is hard. It hasn't rained in a while. There are stones in the field, stones of resentment, stones of pride, stones of worldly attachment. The Eucharist is the seed. It is a seed of infinite life. It contains the power to grow a forest of virtues. But a seed, no matter how powerful, cannot grow on concrete. It needs soil that has been broken open. The phrase we have been speaking of, that short, humble prayer during communion, is the plow. When you say, Lord, I am not worthy, you are breaking the hard crust of the soil. You are opening a furrow. You are allowing the air and the light to get in. You are preparing the place for the seed to rest. If you do this once, it is good. But if you do it every Sunday, if you do it every day in spiritual communion, the field changes. The stones begin to loosen. You can pick them up and throw them away, one by one. Lord, take this anger. Lord, take this fear. This is the work of a lifetime. It is not an overnight success. Padre Pio did not become a saint in a day. He struggled, he suffered, he prayed, he persevered. He plowed the field of his soul every single day until it became a garden where God loved to walk. You do not need to be a monk to do this. You just need to be faithful in the small things. The devil fears the person who gets up after falling. He fears the person who, despite being distracted 1,000 times, returns to God 1,001 times. So, here is your mission for the next Mass. Do not look for a lightning bolt. Do not look for an emotional explosion. Look for the plow. Look for that moment of quiet honesty. Say the phrase, Lord, I am not worthy, but I am here, and I am yours. And then, let the seed do its work. It grows while you sleep. It grows while you work. It grows in the silence. Trust the process of grace. Do not look for fireworks. Look for fidelity. As we close, I ask you to consider the furrow you will open this week. What is the one stone you need to remove to make room for Jesus? Is it noise? Is it bitterness? Is it despair? Name it. Give it to him. If this journey into the mystery of the Eucharist and the spirituality of Padre Pio has stirred something in your heart, do not let it evaporate. Faith is like a fire. It needs fuel. You can join us as we continue to explore these maps of the interior life. And I invite you, in the quiet of your own reflection, to share, just in a few words, what phrase helps you center your heart on God. It might be, my Lord and my God, or Jesus, have mercy, or something personal to you. Your words might be the very thing that helps another soul find their way back to the plow. Go in peace. The table is ready. The King is waiting. And the grace is yours for the asking. Jesus is waiting for you, fully present. The question is, will you be present too?